What makes a good story? Well, plot sequence. Plot sequence is the series of events that will happen in your story. And commonly, they go a bit like this. Typically, you have the beginning of your story. You meet the characters, you get to understand the setting, then all of a sudden, bam, you're faced with a conflict. Boom. From that conflict, everything tends to build. Events in the story, characters interacting, problems happening. Then all of a sudden you reach this point when everything changes. The main character is facing the conflict. There is a turning point, and there's a peak of the story. And after that happens, things tend to tame down. Story slows down. The loose ends begin to tie up. And then there's the end of our story, the resolution. That plot sequence, each of those pieces has a special name. This beginning part where we're meeting the characters is called the exposition. Then we have our rising action. Then this turning point is called the climax. Then the falling action. And then, of course, the resolution. Now, it's important when writing your own story to think through, what do I want to happen in my exposition, the beginning? How do I want people to be introduced to the characters? How can I describe the setting? And then how will the conflict of the story be revealed? Got to remember the conflict when writing the exposition. Then what events will happen in your rising action? What's going to build the tension and what's going to help the story get complicated and interesting? And what main event is going to happen as the climax, when the peak or the turning point of the story? Jot down some notes about the falling action. How will things begin to slow down and resolve, and in the end, finally resolve, creating the end of the story? What you're going to do is you're going to take some time to think through plot sequence and jot a couple notes down. They don't have to be complete sentences about what you envision happening in your story. Once you've done so, then, this is the fun part, you take out a sheet of just plain white paper. And what you'll do with that white paper is you'll fold it in half. And then you'll fold it in half again. And then you'll fold it in half again. Like, Miss Christine, isn't this just making a little booklet? Yeah, kind of, but we're not going to hold it like a booklet. We're going to unfold it. And what you end up with is a piece of paper with 8 different rectangles. And if you really want to use the back side, you can have even more, up to 16 rectangles. And what you're going to do is create a storyboard. Now, when we create a storyboard, we're thinking through what's going to happen, the events of our story, and we're marking them out on a board, in this case, a piece of paper. And this can get a lot of fun because it's just drawing, it's sketching out. So maybe you envision, you envision your main character at the end of, at a turn. Here's my main character. I'm just a quick sketch. I'm not looking for perfection here. This isn't a final draft. I've got my main character, and they're on a trail, and then the trail can go 2 different ways. And this is how, and it's a forest. Okay, draw some trees, deciduous trees.